The dime is one of those coins that often goes unnoticed. It's small, it's light, and it slips in and out of our hands without a second thought. People drop them into vending machines, slide them across counters, or leave them in the bottom of their cars without realizing just how much history and potential value can be wrapped into such a tiny piece of metal. But when we look at the 1980 United States one-dime coin, a seemingly ordinary piece of change, there's a whole different story waiting to be told. Because among those millions of dimes minted that year, there are rare errors, accidental variations that transform a simple 10-cent piece into a collector's dream, valued at an astounding $52,000 to $122,000. Imagine holding a dime worth more than a luxury car, a college education, or even a small house. That's the hidden potential inside the 1980 dime era, and it's one of the most fascinating chapters in modern numismatics. The design of the 1980 dime is one that most people are very familiar with. On the obverse, we see the portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, who guided the nation through the Great Depression and World War II. His image first appeared on the dime in 1946 as a tribute after his death, and by 1980, it had become deeply ingrained in American coinage. The word liberty stretches along the left edge, while the motto "In God We Trust" sits just beneath his chin. The year 1980 rests at the lower right. On the reverse, the design features a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength and independence. The words United States of America and one dime encircle the design. At a glance, it looks like any other dime, but it's the minting errors that break that uniformity and create something extraordinary. Errors in coin production can happen for a variety of reasons. The U.S. Mint is a massive operation, striking billions of coins each year. And while the process is built for precision, it isn't immune to flaws. For the 1980 dime, several types of errors have been documented that elevate these coins from pocket change to prized collectibles. Among the most striking are off-center strikes, double strikes, die clashes, missing mint marks, and wrong planchet errors. Each one of these tells a story of a machine gone slightly out of alignment, of human oversight, or of pure chance that allowed a flawed coin to escape into circulation. Take the off-center strike, for example. In this error, the dime is not properly seated in the press when struck, causing the design to land off-center. Sometimes it's just a minor shift, but in rare cases, the strike is so off-center that part of the coin is blank while the rest carries a distorted image of Roosevelt's face. The more dramatic the misalignment, the higher the value, especially if the date is still visible. An off-center 1980 dime in mint condition can easily catch the attention of collectors and push its value into extraordinary ranges. Then there are double strikes. This occurs when a coin is struck more than once, with the design overlapping in a ghostly duplication. On a 1980 dime, a double strike might show Roosevelt's face shifted slightly, as if there were two profiles on the same coin. Could also show duplicated lettering or torch details on the reverse. These errors are highly sought after because they're so visually striking, and a pristine example of a double-struck 1980 dime could bring bids that soar well beyond tens of thousands of dollars, easily climbing into that $52,000 to $122,000 range at auction. Die clashes are another fascinating error. When the dies that stamp the coins strike each other without a blank planchet between them, they leave impressions of their designs on each other. This means that when the next coin is struck, faint outlines of the opposite side's design appear where they don't belong. Imagine seeing traces of Roosevelt's face appearing faintly on the reverse with the torch and branches. These strange, almost ghostly patterns captivate collectors, and a strong clash on a 1980 dime can make the coin immensely valuable. One of the most famous and collectible errors on dimes in the late 20th century is the missing mint mark. By 1980, dimes were supposed to carry a mint mark indicating where they were produced, either a D for Denver, a P for Philadelphia, or an S for San Francisco if proof. But errors can occur where the mint mark fails to be punched into the die. This happened most famously with the 1982 no mint mark dime, but similar errors have been found in earlier years, including 1980. A 1980 dime missing its mint mark in high-grade condition is extremely rare, and collectors are willing to pay staggering sums for such a piece. This is the type of discovery that can push a dime into the upper echelon of value, potentially worth $52,000 to $122,000 depending on rarity and condition. Perhaps the most spectacular error of all is the wrong planchet strike. This happens when a dime design is accidentally struck onto a blank meant for another denomination. For example, if a dime design is struck on a smaller foreign coin blank or even on a planchet intended for a cent or nickel, the result is a coin that looks bizarrely out of proportion. The design may be incomplete, the weight may be off, and the color may differ. These errors are so rare that when they surface, collectors go wild. A 1980 dime struck on the wrong planchet in mint state could easily command prices at the very top of the $52,000 to $122,000 range. But rarity alone isn't enough to create such staggering values. Condition plays a critical role. Collectors pay a premium for coins that are well preserved, showing little or no wear, scratches, or damage. This is why grading services are so important. Professional coin graders assess each coin and assign it a grade based on its condition, with mint state coins at the top of the scale. A rare error in poor condition might still be worth hundreds or even thousands, but in mint state, the same coin could leap into six-figure territory. That's the kind of leap that makes the difference between pocket change and life-changing discovery. The stories of these discoveries are what make the 1980 dime so exciting. Imagine someone going through an old collection of coins left behind by a relative, dismissing the dimes as insignificant because they're only worth 10 cents apiece, only to notice that one of them doesn't look quite right. Maybe the date looks shifted, maybe Roosevelt's profile seems doubled, or maybe there's no mint mark where one should be. After a little research, they realize they've stumbled onto a rarity that could change their financial situation overnight. That moment of shock and realization is one of the most thrilling aspects of coin collecting. BY 1980, the US Mint was producing billions of coins each year, and precision was critical. But even with advanced technology, mistakes slipped through. That's what makes error coins so captivating. They're proof of human and mechanical imperfection, frozen in metal. Each one carries not just monetary value, but also a story of how it came to be, how it slipped past inspectors, and how it survived in circulation until it was finally recognized. The 1980 dime error coins are artifacts of that process, representing both the massive scale of minting and the rare moments when the system faltered. And what makes this even more exciting is that these coins are still out there. People still find error dimes today in pocket change, in bankrolls, in coin jars tucked away in closets. The possibility of discovering a 1980 dime error worth $52,000 to $122,000 is real, and it's that possibility that keeps collectors searching. Every dime you come across could be hiding something unusual, and if you look closely enough, you might just be the one to uncover the heart of it. Coin collecting is about discovery and appreciation. It's about understanding that the smallest details can make the biggest difference. A dime might be worth 10 cents to most, but to someone who notices the missing mint mark, the off-center strike, or the unusual duplication of features, that same dime transforms into a treasure. The 1980 dime error coins remind us that value is not always obvious and that fortunes can hide in the most ordinary of places. So the next time you pick up a dime, don't just dismiss it as insignificant. Look closely. Check the date. Examine the mint mark. Notice the alignment of the design. Because you never know, you might just be holding one of the rarest error coins of 1980, a coin that could bring you a life-changing reward between $52,000 and $122,000. That's the beauty of numismatics. The thrill of the hunt, the power of observation, and the stories behind every coin. The 1980 dime is more than just a piece of pocket change. It's a reminder that sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest surprises, and that with a keen eye and a little luck, extraordinary treasures can be found in the most ordinary of places. That's why collectors love it, and that's why the story of the 1980 dime error continues to capture imaginations to this day. In the world of American coins, few things excite collectors more than a hidden error that slipped through the mint undetected, only to later emerge as a rare and valuable treasure. Among these fascinating discoveries, the 1988 United States dime has captured a special place in the hearts of coin enthusiasts. At first glance, it looks just like any other Roosevelt dime you've likely handled countless times at the grocery store, tucked into a vending machine, or left in a coin jar. But some of these 1988 dimes aren't ordinary at all. With rare minting errors, a simple 10-cent piece can soar in value to a jaw-dropping $46,000 to $112,000 000. It might seem unbelievable that something so small, so ordinary, could hold such an extraordinary worth. Yet, that's the magic of coin collecting. Errors turn everyday coins into rare artifacts of history, creating opportunities for collectors to own a piece of minting mystery. The 1988 dime is one of those coins that keep collectors hunting, eyes sharp for details that most people never even notice. To understand why the 1988 dime has become so special, you need to know a bit about the coin itself. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, just a year after his passing. His leadership during World War II and his role in establishing the March of Dimes cemented his legacy as the face of the 10-cent coin. For decades, the dime's design remained consistent. Roosevelt's portrait on the obverse, and on the reverse, a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. By 1988, millions upon millions of these dimes had been minted. They were everywhere, a coin so common that no one thought twice about it. But within those countless pieces, errors were struck, and those mistakes would later be worth a fortune. One of the most significant and talked about errors on the 1988 dime involves the double die variety. A double die error happens when the die used to strike the coin is engraved twice at slightly different positions. This creates a doubling effect on the letters or numbers. On the 1988 dime, collectors have reported doubling visible on inscriptions like Liberty, In God We Trust, or even on the date itself. Imagine spotting a dime where Roosevelt's features or the lettering looks slightly blurred or doubled. That subtle mistake can instantly change the coin's value from 10 cents to tens of thousands of dollars. Another fascinating error tied to the 1988 dime is the off-center strike. This occurs when the blank planchet isn't properly aligned with the die during striking, resulting in part of the design being missing or pushed to one side. The degree of the off-center strike can greatly affect the coin's value. A slight off-center strike might catch a collector's interest, but a dramatic one, where a large portion of the design is missing yet the date remains visible, is a jackpot. The more extreme the misalignment, the more unique and valuable the coin becomes. Collectors also search for wrong planchet errors in the 1988 dime series. This mistake happens when the dime is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination. For example, if a dime's design was struck on a copper penny blank or even on a foreign coin blank, the result would be a coin unlike any other. Wrong planchet errors are among the rarest and most sought-after mistakes, with prices skyrocketing depending on the uniqueness of the strike. Clipped planchet errors add yet another layer of intrigue. When the sheet of metal used to punch blanks overlaps incorrectly, the result is a coin with a crescent-shaped clip missing from its edge. A 1988 dime with a clear, dramatic clip can instantly attract attention and command a high price at auction. What makes these errors so fascinating is that they don't just represent a mistake. They reveal the human and mechanical imperfections behind the minting process. So why does a dime like this reach values between $46,000 and $112,000? It's not just about the error itself. It's about condition, rarity, and demand. A coin that's well preserved, showing little to no wear, is far more valuable than one that's been heavily circulated. Mint state graded coins with dramatic errors often command the highest prices. Combine pristine condition with a rare minting mistake, and suddenly you have a dime worth more than a luxury car. There are countless stories of people discovering treasures like this by accident. Someone cleaning out an old change jar, rolling coins to take to the bank, or sifting through inherited collections has stumbled across an error coin without even realizing it. That's the thrill of coin collecting. You never know when fortune might be sitting right in your pocket. Imagine the shock of finding a 1988 dime error in loose change, only to discover it's valued upwards of $100,000. That's the kind of story that turns everyday people into lifelong collectors. Auction houses have seen the excitement firsthand. When a 1988 dime with a dramatic error comes up for bidding, the atmosphere changes. Collectors know they're not just bidding on a coin. They're bidding on a piece of history that carries a story of imperfection, rarity, and value. Competition becomes fierce, and prices climb quickly, often landing in that incredible $46,000 to $112,000 range. The winning bidder doesn't just walk away with a dime. They walk away with a symbol of how even the smallest flaws can create something priceless. The allure of the 1988 dime lies in its balance of familiarity and rarity. Everyone has handled a dime, but only a handful have ever seen the rare errors that make them so valuable. It's that contrast, the ordinary transformed into the extraordinary, that keeps collectors searching tirelessly. Each coin tells its own story, whether it's an off-center strike, a clipped planchet, or a double die. Every error is a reminder of the unpredictability of the minting process, and every discovery brings with it the thrill of uncovering hidden value. Think about how often you pass over small change without even looking. What if, tucked into that pile of coins, there was a 1988 dime error worth over $100,000? That's the kind of possibility that fuels the imagination of collectors everywhere. It transforms a mundane act, checking your change, into a treasure hunt with life-changing potential. For many, the Roosevelt dime is a symbol of everyday America, but for the lucky few who uncover rare errors, it becomes something far more, a ticket into the world of numismatic legends. And the 1988 dime is a perfect example of this. Whether through a double die, an off-center strike, or a wrong planchet, this coin represents the extraordinary potential hiding in plain sight. So, the next time you have a dime in your hand, don't be so quick to toss it into a machine or a jar. Take a closer look. Study the details. Look for doubling in the letters, check for misaligned designs, or unusual shapes at the edge. Because one small detail could be the difference between a 10-cent coin and a six-figure treasure. And that's what makes the 1988 dime such a captivating story. It reminds us that sometimes the most valuable things are the ones we overlook every day. A coin that most people dismiss as ordinary can, in fact, carry a hidden fortune. And if you're lucky enough to find one, you won't just be holding a dime. You'll be holding a piece of American history, a minting error that slipped through the cracks but emerged to shine in the world of collectors. Would you keep such a coin in your personal collection, cherishing it as a piece of rare history? Or would you cash it in for a life-changing payday of up to $112,000? That's the question these coins leave us with, and it's part of what makes them so endlessly fascinating. Because at the end of the day, the 1988 dime isn't just about money. It's about discovery, history, and the thrilling idea that treasure could be waiting in the palm of your hand. A dime is one of the smallest coins in our pockets, and most of us never give it a second thought. It's just 10 cents, right? But what if that ordinary-looking dime you've had for years could secretly be worth tens of thousands of dollars? That's the fascinating reality of the 2006 US dime with rare mint errors. While millions upon millions of dimes were produced in that year and circulated freely across the country, a handful slipped through the minting process with mistakes so extraordinary that collectors today are willing to pay anywhere from $36,000 to as high as $104,000 for a single coin. And the wild part is these coins aren't sitting in museums. They could be hiding in everyday change, in a coin jar on your dresser, or in an old roll of coins at the bank. The 2006 dime belongs to the Roosevelt dime series, a design first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. By 2006, the design had been in use for 6 decades, featuring Roosevelt's left-facing profile on the obverse, with inscriptions including Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date. On the reverse, the familiar torch, olive branch, and oak branch symbolize liberty, peace, and strength. To most people, there's nothing unusual about the coin. It's one of the most common in circulation. But what transforms a 2006 dime into a treasure worth a small fortune is when something goes wrong in the minting process. Error coins are like accidents that escape the mint. They're not supposed to exist, and that's exactly why collectors value them so highly. The 2006 Roosevelt dime is known for several incredible errors. One of the most famous is the double strike error, where the coin is struck more than once by the dies but not in perfect alignment. This results in Roosevelt's profile appearing doubled or shifted, and parts of the lettering or date may look ghosted or overlapping. Coins with dramatic double strikes are incredibly rare and mesmerizing to look at. Each one is unique, and collectors will pay big money for these. Depending on condition, a dramatic double strike 2006 dime can sell anywhere between $36,000 and $104,000, making it one of the most valuable modern dime errors out there. Another error that can be found on the 2006 dime is an off-center strike. This happens when the blank coin, called a planchet, isn't perfectly positioned in the press before being struck. The result is a design that's shifted to one side, leaving parts of the coin blank. Sometimes Roosevelt's head looks cut off, or the reverse design drifts far to one side. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin, especially if the date and mint mark remain visible. Collectors love these because they're dramatic and immediately recognizable as mint errors. It's not every day you see a dime where half the design is missing. There are also known broad strike errors on 2006 dimes. This happens when the collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking malfunctions, allowing the metal to expand outward. The coin ends up larger than usual with no raised rim and looks almost stretched. These errors are rare, and because they're visually striking, they capture a lot of collector interest. Another particularly fascinating error is the wrong planchet strike. Occasionally, a dime die accidentally strikes a planchet meant for another denomination, like a cent or even a foreign coin blank. This creates a coin with Roosevelt's design but on a metal disc of the wrong size or color. These are exceedingly rare, and when they appear, the auction prices skyrocket. But what makes these errors even more exciting is that they slipped into circulation. The US Mint strikes billions of coins each year, and despite the high level of quality control, mistakes are bound to happen. When they do, and those coins go undetected into the public's hands, they become treasures waiting to be discovered. That means a 2006 dime worth over $100,000 could be sitting in a jar of change right now, just waiting for someone sharp-eyed enough to notice. So how can you tell if you have one of these error dimes? Start by looking closely at the coin's design. Is the profile of Roosevelt doubled or shifted? That could be a double strike. Is the design noticeably off-center, with part of the coin blank? That's an off-center strike. Does the coin look strangely large or missing its rim? That's likely a broad strike. Or is the coin the wrong color or the wrong size altogether? That could mean it was struck on the wrong planchet. Condition matters, too. A heavily worn 2006 error dime still has value, but a coin in pristine, mint state condition can be worth far more. Collectors and auction houses often rely on professional grading services like PCGS or NGC to authenticate and grade these coins. A high-grade example of a rare error is what drives prices into the $36,000 to $104,000 range. Think about it this way. 10 cents is so insignificant today that most people wouldn't bend down to pick one off the ground. But if that dime turned out to be one of these rare 2006 errors, it could change your life. Imagine paying for a cup of coffee with change from your pocket, only to realize later that one of those dimes could have bought you a luxury car or even been a down payment on a house. That's the reality of how rare and valuable these coins can be. Collectors are always on the hunt for modern era coins because they combine the familiarity of everyday currency with the excitement of rarity. The 2006 Roosevelt dime is especially attractive because it's a recent issue, meaning it's still very possible to find one in circulation today. Unlike older rare coins that have long been pulled from circulation and tucked away, the 2006 dime is recent enough that examples are still out there waiting to be discovered. Consider the story of an unsuspecting collector who stumbled upon a double-strike 2006 dime while searching through rolls of coins from the bank. At first glance, it looked like an ordinary dime, but the doubled profile caught their attention. After getting the coin authenticated, it sold at auction for over $70,000. Stories like that fuel the excitement and the constant searching by collectors and treasure hunters alike. The lesson here is simple. Never overlook your change. A dime may seem insignificant, but if it happens to be a 2006 error dime, you could be sitting on a small fortune. The range of values, from $36,000 to $104,000, makes it one of the most desirable modern dime errors in existence. Every time you see a dime, especially one dated 2006, take a moment to look closely. Use a magnifying glass if you have one. Pay attention to the edges, the centering of the design, the details of Roosevelt's profile, and the overall size and shape of the coin. These small details could reveal something extraordinary. There's something magical about the idea that hidden treasures exist in plain sight, mixed in with everyday items we take for granted. The 2006 Roosevelt dime is proof of that. A small piece of metal worth 10 cents can suddenly become worth more than a year's salary, all because of a mistake made during its creation. And the best part is, These coins are still out there, waiting to be found, so the next time you hear the clink of change in your pocket, don't ignore it. That sound could be the sound of hidden wealth. Take a closer look at your dimes, especially the ones dated 2006. Who knows? You might just be holding one of the rarest modern era coins, a tiny dime worth between $36,000 and $104,000. And if you are, that little coin could change your life in the most unexpected way. The United States dime is one of the smallest coins in circulation, but its history and the surprises it occasionally carries make it one of the most fascinating. The 2018 Roosevelt dime, like countless others, was struck by the U.S. Mint in massive numbers, designed for nothing more than everyday transactions. Most of these coins never receive a second glance. They buy snacks from a vending machine, get stacked for laundry, or rattle around in the cup holder of a car. Yet hidden within this sea of ordinary dimes are rare pieces that slipped through the minting process with errors that transformed them into treasures worth far more than their face value. Some of these 2018 dime era coins have been valued between $28,000 and $90,000, astonishing collectors and turning an ordinary 10-cent piece into a life-changing discovery. The Roosevelt dime itself has been around since 1946, honoring Franklin D. Roosevelt, who led the nation through one of its darkest periods and left a legacy of resilience. The obverse carries his dignified profile, while the reverse features a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, representing liberty, peace, and strength. By 2018, the coin's design was well established, familiar to everyone. But the story of its errors is what captivates collectors today. Even with the mint's high-tech equipment, misstrikes, double dies, and wrong planchets still happen. When they do, the resulting coins escape into circulation, quietly waiting to be discovered. One of the most spectacular errors found on the 2018 dime is the off-center strike. This occurs when the blank planchet is not perfectly seated in the press, causing the dies to strike off-target. The result is a coin with the design shifted to one side, sometimes leaving a blank crescent of metal exposed. The degree of the off-center strike matters greatly. Slightly off-center examples might be interesting, but the most dramatic, where the date is still visible yet the image is far from normal, are the ones that command staggering prices. In pristine condition, these 2018 off-center dimes have stunned the numismatic world with values climbing toward the $28,000 to $90,000 range. Then there are the double die errors. These occur when a die impresses a design twice at slightly different angles, leaving behind faint doubling visible on letters, numbers, or features of the coin. On a 2018 dime, this might appear in the inscriptions "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," or even on the digits of the date. Under magnification, the doubling becomes unmistakable, and collectors treasure these varieties because they reflect a flaw at the very heart of the minting process. A strong double die error from 2018 can be incredibly valuable, particularly if the coin remains uncirculated. High-grade examples certified by professional grading services have drawn fierce bidding wars, with prices soaring into the tens of thousands. Even rarer are the wrong planchet errors. These are mistakes where the dime design was accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination or even for a foreign coin. For instance, a dime struck on a copper-colored cent planchet would immediately stand out, both because of its size and color. These wrong planchet 2018 dimes are the crown jewels of error collectors. Their rarity is so extreme that when they surface at auction, the bidding becomes intense. Final prices in these cases can easily reach into that breathtaking $90,000 range. The journey of such a coin is remarkable. It begins in the controlled environment of the U.S. Mint, surrounded by machinery designed to minimize error. Yet something happens: a blank is misaligned, a die is flawed, or the wrong planchet is fed into the press. Instead of being caught by quality checks, the coin slips through, bagged with thousands of flawless dimes. From there, it enters circulation unnoticed, mixed into tills, pockets, or rolls at the bank. For months or even years, nobody realizes what they're holding. It isn't until someone with a sharp eye examines it closely that its secret is revealed. Suddenly, an everyday dime transforms into a treasure worth between $28,000 and $90,000. Collectors love these stories because they highlight the thrill of the hunt. Anyone could find such a coin, whether they are a seasoned numismatist or someone casually checking their pocket change. The idea that life-changing value could be hiding in something so small and common makes the chase irresistible. When a 2018 error dime surfaces, it instantly becomes a centerpiece of conversation in the coin community, and its discovery adds fuel to the excitement of searching through even the most ordinary-looking coins. Auction houses have seen firsthand the power of these errors. When a certified 2018 dime error is listed, it generates a buzz among collectors. The bidding starts strong, often from multiple interested parties, and quickly escalates. Everyone knows how rare these coins are, and nobody wants to miss the chance to own one. By the time the gavel falls, the humble dime has achieved a price that could cover major expenses, sometimes even changing the life of the person who discovered it. Stories of a single coin selling for $28,000 to $90,000 spark imaginations and inspire even casual observers to start checking their change. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its ultimate value. A 2018 error dime that has circulated heavily, accumulating scratches, dings, and wear, will still be worth far more than its face value. But pristine, uncirculated examples are the ones that truly soar. Grading services like PCGS and NGC play an important role here, authenticating the coin, confirming the error, and assigning a grade that helps collectors know exactly what they are buying. A high-grade, certified 2018 dime error becomes a centerpiece, not only because of its rarity but also because of its confirmed quality. The fascination with modern errors like the 2018 dime also challenges assumptions about what makes a coin valuable. Many people believe that only old coins, those minted in the 1800s or earlier, carry real worth. But the 2018 dime proves that even in recent years, extraordinary value can be hidden in plain sight. Modern error coins are a reminder that the minting process, no matter how advanced, is still susceptible to human error and mechanical quirks. Those mistakes, while rare, are what create treasures. Consider the perspective of a collector discovering one for the first time. They might open a bank roll of dimes, expecting nothing unusual, when suddenly one coin stands out. Its design is clearly off-center, or the doubling is visible under magnification. Heart pounding, they realize they've stumbled upon something rare. After submitting it for authentication, the confirmation comes back. It's a genuine 2018 error dime. What was once just a 10-cent piece now carries the potential to fetch between $28,000 and $90,000. That moment of discovery is one of the purest joys in numismatics, and it's why so many people dedicate themselves to searching for coins. The 2018 dime error coins are not just collectibles. They are symbols of rarity, of chance, and of how value can emerge from the most unexpected places. They remind us that treasures aren't always ancient artifacts hidden in the ground or locked in museums. They can be right in our pockets, waiting to be noticed. Every coin has a story, and for the 2018 dimes with errors, that story is one of imperfection turned into perfection in the eyes of collectors. As time passes, the number of surviving 2018 error dimes will only decrease. Some will be lost, others damaged, and the few pristine examples will become even more sought after. Their prices will likely climb higher as collectors recognize just how few exist. Today, they already command between $28,000 and $90,000. But in the years ahead, their value could grow even more. For collectors, owning one isn't just about the money. It's about holding a piece of minting history, a coin that shouldn't exist but does, and because of that, it is priceless. The story of the 2018 US dime error captures everything that makes coin collecting so thrilling. The mystery of how such coins escape the mint, the excitement of discovery, the drama of auctions, and the awe of realizing just how much value can hide in something so small. For anyone listening, the lesson is clear. Never dismiss the change in your pocket. Among those ordinary coins could be a hidden masterpiece. A dime struck in 2018 with an error that transformed it into a treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars. And somewhere out there, another one might still be waiting to be found.